Seeing as my most viewed video is about bringing New Vegas closer to the original Fallouts in design, in this video I'll go over a dozen classic Fallout mods that I didn't get the chance to showcase within that video. Our first mod was recently released some time ago. It makes use of the base object swapper for a chanced replacement of all of the wooden caravan carts in the game, with new Brahmin carts put together from car trunks. There are 15 variations in total. That's a lot of variety right there. They look pretty much exactly how they do in Fallouts 1 and 2. The mod even comes with a configuration file where you can fiddle around with the swap chance. And as an added replayability bonus, the swaps are randomized for whenever you start a new game. The mod's called Classic Brahmin Carts. Installation is simply plug and play. Every time you lay eyes on the OG carts, it'll be like taking an injection of nostalgia. Next, we've got an addition of just under a dozen new outfits to New Vegas's leveled lists. All of them are based on pieces of clothing found in the classics. It's awesome to see their pixel art designs be fully actualized in 3D within this game's engine. I do think that some of the outfits could have been translated over to New Vegas better, but for the most part, the models and textures are faithful to the original material. The outfits are nif-bashed, so that makes them fit in with the rest of the clothing in the game seamlessly. That was more classic Fallout outfits. Installation is straightforward. You'll mostly be seeing the outfits being worn by pedestrians or settlers. But what we're really trying to replicate with all the mods on this list and other videos I've made about the topic is that bleak post-apocalyptic atmosphere that the original Fallouts execute so well. The world is desolate, society is dystopian, everything from everyday tools to food and clothing is stark and gritty. And the most effective yet simplest way to recreate that exact vibe is by using the classics ambient music. There are many mods that do this on Nexus, but none comes even close to how good this one implements the OG tracks into the Mojave. Have a listen for yourself. Those are tracks from Fallouts 1, 2, Sonora, and Nevada. Each score was curated to accurately reflect the story of the location it plays at, Nipton's desolation and tragedy. The devastation of the abandoned and haunted divide. But some locations' tracks were left untouched, like Novak and Goodsprings, because the music in those locations is iconic. That was Hymn of the New West. This mod will genuinely make you feel like you're playing through New Vegas for the first time again. With the right set of mods, it can make the game feel like a whole new classic Fallout experience. With regards to weaponry, this mod brings back the classic DKS 501. Yes, I know that classic Fallout Weapons Remastered already adds this sniper rifle to the game, but NS97's version is much more polished and faithful to the original concept in my opinion. Its model and textures also make it fit better among the other weapons in New Vegas's arsenal. The main differences are, NS97's rifle will have iron sights and a scope attachment. CFWR's will have an integrated scope with a suppressor attachment. That was the NS Classic sniper rifle. Installation is simple, and if you're using it alongside CFWR, make sure to disable that mod's DKS rifle from the configuration file. You'll find it in vendors and on NPCs thanks to scripted leveled list integration. It seems the Molten Clouds team is also working on bringing a faithful recreation of the DKS to New Vegas. Also, classic Fallout Weapons Remastered has had a few updates since I last reviewed it, and I'll go over the changes later in the video. It seems Web Productions Entertainment is always working on some new mod, bringing more classic Fallout content to New Vegas. He's released a few recently that alter the appearance of some of the creatures in the desert wasteland. This one in particular touches on the rat scorpions, ants, mole rats, giant rats, iBots, protectrons, and sentry bots. It changes the meshes and textures of mentioned creatures to accurately resemble their Fallout 1 and 2 counterparts. Download it via Mod Manager, and upon installation a menu will pop up, allowing you to pick and choose what creatures you want redesigned. The only ones I found to be not so good were the mole rats, iBots, and ants. The rest all fit in FNV pretty well. Like I said, this mod author has been busy because he's come out with yet another classic creature mod. This one will bring back the old Sentry bots to New Vegas' 𝙈𝙤𝙨𝙨 engine. It comes with two options. You can either replace all of New Vegas' Sentry bots with the classic ones, or choose to have some instances of the classic Sentry bot placed around fitting locations on the map. If you decide to use the replacer version, it'll also swap the prototypes displayed in the RepCon HQ. Even the posters featuring the Sentry bot will be edited to accurately portray the change. That was classic Sentry bot overhaul. It's terrifying seeing those things march towards you as they spray you with bullets and rockets. Psycho was one of the chems I took whilst I worked on my previous video. Classic Psycho will retexture and remodel the chem to look exactly like its Fallout 1 and 2 counterpart. This was originally made for the Fallout 2 Recreation mod in New Vegas' engine dubbed The Chosen's Way, so you know its quality. It comes with B42 inject compatibility. If you're like me and care about even the minute details from the classics, then you'll be sure to grab this one. This next one is also from the Molten Clouds team. Across the different Fallout games, the Brotherhood of Steel have worn different armor, but I don't like the modern dress code of the Brotherhood. When they're not wearing power armor, they'd usually be in their onesie pajamas, except in the classics. They wore combat armor, which in my opinion makes a lot more sense, and this mod will add the Brotherhood combat armor from the classics into the game. It has 4 variants in total: light, regular, backpacked, and reinforced. There'll also be a couple of kits you can use to attach a backpack or reinforce the armor. You can find a few in Brotherhood locations or buy them from Torres. It'll appear on some soldiers and initiates as well. Were you disappointed with the quality of the Classic Pack DLC for FNV? I know I was. It just adds the same armored vault jumpsuit from Fallout 3 and a horribly reskinned 10mm pistol. But with this 3-mod combo, we can put together a much more faithful representation of these items without straying far from the vanilla game's aesthetic style. Neo Classic Armored Vault 13 jumpsuit tears off the jumpsuit's right sleeve and adds a hand wrap over the right arm. Classic Vault 13 jumpsuit changes the font of the number 13 on the suit's back and collar to the old school font. Classic Aesthetics Weathered 10mm pistol adds a brown handguard to the pistol to make it look more like the classic Colt N80. Finally, Classic Canteen will retexture the Vault 13 canteen so it'd accurately resemble the original. Now the Classic DLC is actually deserving of its name, adding a smudge of nostalgia to your playthrough. On the topic of nostalgia, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, while widely regarded as the worst in the franchise, still holds nostalgic value for some of us. Besides, it didn't do everything wrong. In my opinion, it has a way better weapons arsenal than Fallout 4, and this mod brings 3 of them to New Vegas: the spiked gloves, spiked baseball bat, and torch. They've been fully integrated into the game, Pip-Boy icons and all. However, I must say, they do look a tiny bit out of place within the game. The model and texture work is gorgeous, but the weapons look oversized and oversaturated. That was the Carbon Weapons Pack. KNVC animation patches can be found on Nexus, and the mod comes with built-in TTW support. Unfortunately, it seems that this next mod is not compatible with Tale of Two Wastelands, which is a shame because it adds one of the coolest characters from Fallout 2 as a companion in New Vegas. Gorris is an intellectual with strong core values, unlike most people nowadays. You can only recruit him after saving the mutants from the mercenaries during the quest, Unfriendly Persuasion, without causing any deaths. Upon joining you and engaging in combat, he'll expose himself to be a Deathclaw all along, and you can confront him about it in dialogue. It's really cool to see Gorris rip off his robe in combat just like he did in Fallout 2. He'll also have a unique physique to separate him from the other Deathclaws in the game, if you don't use Horrors of the New West. Classic Gorris is a great companion mod for its novelty alone, despite being quite barebones. Finally, Classic Fallout Weapons Remastered has been updated a while ago to include even more weapons, built-in dedicated animations for all the new guns, and a B42 optics patch has finally been made. The noteworthy weapon additions are the Molotov Cocktail, Rockwell Bazooka, and Solar Scorcher. And while the majority of added weapons now have incredible animations, the melee weapons unfortunately have none. However, there are patches for those weapons that allow them to use animations from Rockbiters, Butcher Pete, and Wasteland Warrior packs.
You've gotten a lot farther than you should have. Your ride's over, Mutie.